Hello everybody, it is Brandon. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me today. So as you probably got to know in my recent top 5 anti-aging foods, you know that I'm extremely passionate about nutrition research, and how it affects our bodies, namely our skin and the overall aging process. Nutrition plays a huge impact, not only that, but also our lifestyle and how we choose to interact with others, our social fabric, and really just our basic choices in life can affect our health and have a longitudinal effect on almost every aspect of our health. And something that I want to talk about today is the impact of hydration, particularly the impact of hydration and drinking water, and possibly in excess, in terms of and how drinking water affects the skin. But before I begin, if you don't mind hitting the like button down below, as well as subscribing as well, it really helps me out. It helps me grow my channel, it helps me reach more people, and I really appreciate it. I feel like this outfit that I'm wearing is like really sailor boy, isn't it? Oh, I kind of like it. Our diet and our lifestyle, as I alluded to earlier, is a good determinant or predictor of our longitudinal health, and in particular, our overall long-term skin health. And water is an essential part of the diet. So people have probably told you time and time again for years that drinking more water can help your skin, can help clear your skin, make it look more fresh and hydrated. Just sort of drinking water, basically, there's sort of like an old cliche, if you will, that drinking water helps to hydrate your skin from the inside out. And we hear this so often for years from multiple sources coming at us with the same statement that it's easy to just accept as truth, as fact. You know, if you hear something long enough and the same thing over and over and over again from multiple people, you start to accept it as fact. You don't really question it. And that's sort of what's happened with water and skin. There's sort of a pervasive belief among many people. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to believe that water can help hydrate the skin, improve the skin's appearance, provide a glow to the skin, and etc., etc. And many people, there are anecdotal reports, you know, you'll find many people who say that they drink more water, that they increase their water intake, and that their skin clears up, there's benefits to it, and you know, that may be true. And you don't really hear about the other things that they may be doing, you know, that may be associated with the observed, self-perceived clearing of the skin. But it's really compelling, and it's really an easy thing to do, and it sounds very easy to just drink more water and your skin will improve. But is there any research to support this? Let's just dive into the studies that are available. Most of the literature that discusses water and skin health is primarily restricted to questionnaire-based studies, narrative or literature reviews, as well as case reports. And in these types of studies, there are invariably inherent biases and confounders that aren't adjusted for, and these really prevent us from making firm conclusions about the rationale and hypothesis of the study. In one study from 2015, researchers from Spain followed 2 groups of people. I believe there were around, I think, a total of 49 participants in the overall study cohort. They queried the participants with a food frequency questionnaire. So it basically asked them what their diet was like and what they ate. So, you know, there are limitations to these food frequency questionnaires because it relies on the participants' memory, and that's limited at best. Sometimes people will elaborate just to make it seem like they are healthier than they are. If you just look at the abstract, you see that there was one group that consumed less than 3,200 milliliters a day of water versus a second group that consumed more than 3,200 milliliters a day. And I think another 2 liters of water was added to the second group for about 1 month. And then later on, the investigators of the study quantified or measured the amount of water or hydration in the skin. And they measured it at baseline, and they compared it with measurements taken at 15 days and 30 days. Measurements were taken to assess transepidermal water loss, or the water that evaporates from the skin, as well as epidermal superficial hydration and deep hydration in the skin. And they tested this in the face, the upper limb, and as well as the leg. So the stress test, which was the additional 2 liters of water in the second group, at 30 days, researchers found that it significantly modified superficial as well as deep hydration, especially in group 1, the group that received less than 3,200 milliliters of water. The additional water intake of that 2 liters was associated with positive benefits to skin physiology, and the researchers concluded that increasing water intake can actually improve hydration of the skin based on those parameters that they measured at baseline, 15 days, as well as 30 days. Now, in both groups, there was no real relevant change to transepidermal water loss or barrier function. And this was a small study. There was only 49 people in the overall study. It was published in 2015. They did use some good measures for skin hydration, but again, it's really hard to adjust for other things that they were doing. I don't know. I didn't really like find in the study, but I didn't really see in the study anywhere where the researchers adjusted for changes in topical moisturizers or serums or anything like that. So it's really hard to say, you know, was it the water that actually changed their moisture content, or was there other things going on? And yeah, again, so it's really hard to say, but it is promising. And they discussed in their paper, which I'll link down below, they discussed that there's other researchers out there who came to similar findings, suggesting that increasing dietary water can actually improve the skin hydration. And I also found a literature review that just assessed, I think, over 20 different articles, mostly observational studies, so not randomized controlled trials, but just observational studies, and they found that just a pooled review of the data in these studies, they concluded that increasing water intake increased skin hydration or stratum corneum hydration. But these investigators, similar to other researchers who are investigating the same topic, say that the underlying mechanism driving this factor is unknown. We don't know how much water you have to increase based upon your baseline water intake right now to improve skin hydration. And it probably, I would assume depends on the individual, especially if you are, you know, if you work out a lot and you sweat and you perspire a lot and you're losing a lot more water than another person, your daily intake of water, increased intake of water to improve skin hydration may also vary quite substantially even. I also found another interesting study comparing drinking tap water versus mineral water. And these participants in these studies drank mineral water or tap water for about 4 weeks. And the researchers performed in vivo lab assessments of the skin physiology, and they found that participants who drank the mineral water, after 4 weeks, their skin thickness significantly increased. And they allude to the fact that it's possibly due to increased hydration within the skin. And this was better than the group that just drank the tap water. And the researchers suggest that the skin pH didn't really change much, but that's actually really an interesting finding, that a mineral water group would have statistically significant increase in skin thickness, which is actually really important because as time goes on, the skin thins, and a lot of that's due to UV damage, but just generally hormonally, you know, as time goes on, the skin will thin, and that causes some of the physiological visible signs of aging. So having increased water or hydration, skin thickness through increased water consumption, that's actually a really powerful, promising finding. But again, a small study, don't really know if the researchers adjusted for any of the cosmetics that the participants were using, the differences between the groups. So you just really have to take those things into consideration when you are interpreting the results of a study. And really a lot of nutritional studies anyway are far from conclusive. I mean, it's really hard to link a lot of things. Especially when it comes to nutrition and skin health. There's a lot that's circulating on the interwebs. I always want to say that, on the internet. So it's really important to take things with a grain of salt and do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Sometimes the conclusions that you make are just that there are no conclusions and that it's just an ongoing area of research that is important to look into. And if it's something like drinking water and increasing your hydration, while not going to the extremes, obviously, you know, working with your doctor, working with your dietitian or whomever, your healthcare provider, to come to a good level of water intake. You know, if it's just to increase your water intake and it's not going to be, again, in excess, then, you know, you might as well try it and see if you like it, see if it does anything for you. And another small study, I think a smaller study, found that intake of mineral water also increased skin hydration and reduced dryness, which go hand in hand, I suppose. And increasing mineral water intake also helped to reduce transepidermal water loss. And that's just a handful of all the the small studies that are out there, all of them seem to be saying the same thing. So I know for me personally, whenever I do drink more water, I find that my skin just looks better, it feels better, it does feel more moisturized, I guess. I mean, I always make sure my skin is moisturized, but whenever I don't drink enough water and I feel dehydrated, I feel as though I look like it. I mean, it could just be some type of, I don't know, dysmorphia or something that I'm seeing in the mirror, and I'm sort of making a correlation in my mind, and I could just be hallucinating it all. I could just be imagining it all, but for myself, anecdotally, I feel that drinking more water does help my skin and does make it better. I'm curious to know, does water intake do anything for your skin? Does it clear? To some degree, I feel like it does help in clearing skin and helping to improve and I have some redness right now. I don't have anything on, so you might be able to see like the redness that I have on my cheeks. Personally, I don't see any change in the redness in my cheeks whenever I drink water. I mean, I drink a lot of liquid, a lot of water throughout the day, and I don't really notice a change depending upon when I don't drink enough water and when I do drink a lot of water, and even in the middle, I just don't notice that change. But when it comes to hydration and just the feeling of my skin, I do feel like drinking water, just anecdotally from my own experience, does help. I'm curious to know, does drinking water for you help your skin? Do you find it helps in any other ways that I didn't discuss, like in terms of acne or I don't know, anything that you may be dealing with? I'm really curious to know, from your own experience, how does drinking water affect you, and not even just your skin, but your overall mentality and vitality? That's another thing. I feel like drinking water really just revitalizes your spirit and helps you feel better and helps your mind. So I feel like you're more likely to reach for healthier lifestyle actions, I guess. Like when you feel better, you want to maintain that. And so you will do things like exercise and eat healthy and just take care of yourself more. And I feel like that can have an impact on your skin. Self-care is so important. But yeah, I'm curious, let me know, what are your experiences? Let me know down below in the comment section. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Definitely go ahead and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified for future videos. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.